This is always a somber day, something I think that is still fresh in the minds even after 15 years. I know you wrote this week about what happened those few weeks after the attacks. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, once the Americans figured out who was the perpetrator of this crime, Osama bin Laden, they went to Afghanistan and requested that the government turn him over to the United States for prosecution. They refused, and President Bush, it was his first year in term, so he was kind of a rookie back then, brought his advisors into the Oval Office, and he chose Cofer Black, who was a CIA whiz who fought in multiple wars around the globe, covertly, of course. And what they did was they took 300 special operations military members, 110 CIA analysts, and in the field agents, a whole bunch of money, and told President Bush that they would go and get these guys. In essence, it took them 10 weeks to do so, and this happened within weeks of 9/11. It showed the Afghanis and the terrorists at large that the United States military had a powerful lethality behind them, and we could come get you wherever you were. And a quote that Cofer made that I actually I'd like to read it, because it sums it up very well. He told President Bush, "When this is all over, the bad guys are going to have flies walking across their eyeballs." And that statement and what Cofer Black was able to do really sent a message. Of course, we know that's not where it ended, and then we got bogged down in other wars. But the very first reaction, retaliation, in essence, for that horrible day that stole America's innocence, actually, came through, and we saw it to the end, and that probably would have been enough.
And while we definitely showed our power afterwards, we also learned a very important message, and that is not to let your guard down. Now, that being a constant reminder every September 11th, do you feel we're safer in the United States than we were 15 years ago?
Well, after being in war perpetually for the last 15 years, I mean, you can say that we spent a lot of money on the homeland, on security measures within the country, so we probably are a little bit safer when it comes to boarding airplanes and things of that nature. However, over 15 years, you make a lot of enemies as well. And so when people travel overseas, it's fair to say that, that we may not be as safe, and the world definitely is a very violent, very disruptive place right now. And on today, we're supposed to remember the brave men and women who lost their lives, the ones in the Twin Towers and on those planes, but it's also to be remembering the members of the military who fight for us every day on this planet. So.
Yes, hats off to all of them, and
very much
our
so.
hearts and prayers go out to all the families of the victims and those that survived. A tough day for everybody here
Never
across the
goes
nation.
away. Yep, never goes away.
Thank you, Kimberly. Have a great rest of your weekend.